Yo, what's up guys? It's Eric from the Brappen Boys, and today we're going to be installing this brand new RPM can on our Boost Chaos here. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to RPM for sending this stuff out. I really appreciate them, and getting to work with them this year has been awesome. So I'm looking forward to the season and seeing how everything rolls out, and they're getting plenty of snow now, so hopefully when you guys see this video, you guys are already riding. But jumping right into things, we got this 2024 Polaris Boost Chaos, and getting started, obviously the stock can weighs about you're going to lose about 11.4 pounds with this can, so and gain about 4 horsepower on a boost. So not only are you losing weight and gaining horsepower, it's just at a better price point than most cans out there on the market. This one I'm porting right here is going to be the titanium sport exhaust. Pretty simple design. It's very similar to the Vipen, but like I said, on a cheaper level is great. You can always save $1 when you're snowmobiling. So jumping right into things, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start by getting the side panel off and knocking out the stock can. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and start up this sled so you can hear what the stock sounds like. So, like I said, stock is pretty lame. No one likes stock. Let's go ahead and swap this over. All right guys, once you knock off that side panel, there's gonna be left with your stock exhaust. Next, what we're gonna need to do is take off the hood so you can get access to the springs that connect your turbo to your pipe. So let's go ahead and get the hood off. All right, so I'm going to bring you guys in a little closer here and show you the spring locations. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take these 4 springs off in the back here. There's going to be 2 on that side and then 2 on that side. And then you're going to want to disconnect your turbo, and it's going to kind of lift. It's going to kind of lift up off of here. There's going to be 1 spring that's in the back right there. Try to get a better angle of it, but it's going to be behind your can here. It's a very tough one to get to, so don't miss that one, as it can cause some troubles. But otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to take off this 10mm nut here and this 10mm nut, and that's going to let your turbo come up a little bit. I do recommend disconnecting your intake here, as it just makes it easier. And then the last thing you don't want to forget is there's going to be a sensor on the back. You want to make sure you grab that. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get all these springs off that I just showed you, and then we'll proceed with the video. One thing that I did want to mention quick is you're going to want something similar to this tool here. This is your spring puller. Pretty self-explanatory there. I'm trying to get it to focus for you. There you go. You're going to want a spring puller similar as this, or a J-hook tool. All right. So next we're going to go ahead and take out these 2 bolts here. There's 1 and 2 nuts. They do stay on, so you don't really need to take them fully off. But what you're going to be using, just a 10mm socket here, nothing crazy. I'm using an extension just as it's easier, but oh, this one is the one. This one is a clamp. Now I forgot. It's not a just around it, but it's gonna look something like that when it's done. So you're gonna want to put this to the side with that bolt. Usually I recommend just putting it back in, just like that. So you got a full clamp now. So once that's off, you should be able to pop this wastegate right off. So something like that. Put that to the side as well. All right. So now there's going to be this grommet you're going to want to take off. Be really careful with this grommet, as sometimes this can pop out of here and it's a very tough time getting back in. So once that's off, pretty much what we're going to do next is going to be disconnecting the intake like I told you earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. All right, once you get that loosened, this thing should just pop right off. If you got aftermarket ones, a little bit harder, but it should just pop off just like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the entire intake. So there's gonna be two little plastic grommets you're just gonna wanna pop out. You can leave the evap sensor connected, but just two little plastic clips. I'll hold that bad boy in. Okay. Should just pop right off like that. You guys can see that. All right. Now that we got our turbo ready to be lifted up, you should just be able to give it a little bit of pressure, a little bit of wiggle. You're gonna want to take this one all the way off too. This clamp should come off just like the other one there. Try not to lose the nut, as that can go deep in your engine bay and you are not finding that one. So it should be a clamp just like the other one, where you can just pull through. Maybe. Rotate it around. There we go. So, once again, I don't want to lose these nuts, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the clamp there. Alright. Now we should be able to just shimmy our turbo up a bit. Be careful of your exhaust grommet back here, as that can get in the way. But other than that, there's going to be one last spring on the back. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to get to. I'm going to try to see if I can get you guys a better shot of that quick. All right, there's the spring in the back there. Try to get a good angle for you guys. All right, so now that we got the turbo moved out of the way, if you're doing this by yourself, I do recommend grabbing some gloves, as I'm just going to stick my finger in here and be able to pull it up. But you're going to have to pull this can up, because there's a little nub on the back that you're going to have to get over before this thing will come out. So usually what I do is I'm just going to push this turbo up as much as I can. I'm going to stick this in here, lift up as much as I can, grab maybe from the back. Oh, it's like that. And now that you got it setting out, don't take it completely out yet, as there is that sensor on the back. It's going to be a 17 millimeter. So let's go ahead and grab that and take that off quick. Okay, now that I got my 17 millimeter wrench, we're gonna go ahead and just turn this off the back. Should just be one little slight turn and it should come right out. Putting the new one on, the new can, let's just make sure we do not over tighten these, as they are a sensor. Just like that. Set that off to the side for now. And then we should just be able to pop this stock can out of here. Boom. Set that to the side. I'm going to do a little bit of a weight comparison here with that new can versus the old one, so you guys can see how much weight you're losing on that sled. So let's go ahead and do that next. All right, guys, I got my scale here. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the stock one and see how much that one weighs. As you can see, 16.almost 2 pounds on the stock can. Let's go ahead and pick up the aftermarket one, so you can see how much weight we're losing. All right, we're right about 4.36 pounds, guys, on the new one. So you guys can do the math, or I'll pop it up on the screen, but that's how much you're going to be losing by installing an aftermarket RPM sports exhaust on your snowmobile. Alright guys, now we're going to be installing the RPM can on our snowmobile as we've gotten the stock one out now, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of a quality rundown of how this can looks. As you can see, all the welds are very nice in great locations. They're all the ones on the here are all ground down, so they look nice and smooth, which will just be better for coloring in this titanium can. As you can see on the inside there, it is a dual lined wall, as well as it's got the resonator in there as well to tone down that volume. So it's not crazily loud, but we'll go ahead and pop this on there now, and I'll show you what it sounds like. But other than that, one thing I do want to recommend is you make sure that your stock can doesn't have this still attached to it. Sometimes this rubber grommet will come with your can as you take it out. So just go ahead and make sure that's there, as you will need it on the new one. There's stickers on these, so you go ahead and take those off too. But as you can see, pretty similar stock can locations for the springs. You have one on the back here, and then this is just going to connect into the wastegate, and then as well under the turbo. So nothing too crazy. There is one thing I did see here is there's no little metal grommet in there. You can go ahead and take that one off your stock can as well. I'm going to go ahead and do that quick. All right, as you can see, I went and got that stock one off the can there. Try to get you a good focus on that. There you go. It's just going to be this metal little pin thing, and it's going to go right into this spot on the can. It's on the same one on your stock can if you need any help finding it. But let me try to get that in focus. It's going to be that hole right there. So we're just going to pop this bad boy in there, and boom, good to go. That's going to help it not rattle around when it's on the snowmobile. So let's go ahead and get right into installing this. It's pretty simple, honestly, compared to taking the stock one out. We're just going to go ahead and pop this down in here. Usually doing the bottom first. Lift up on the turbo a bit. You're going to have to get it around that loop again, so I recommend trying to push your turbo like up in this corner. Just going to pop right down in, like so. And you're going to be freaking good to go. Make sure everything's flush in there. Okay. Take it back out quick. I do see something. As you can tell, that rubber grommet did move there. So I'm going to go ahead and just move that back. You kind of want to come straight down on it. Turbo should just line up just fine. What we're next going to do is take that grommet for earlier for the wastegate there, pop it over this. Alright, you just have to press it around there and turn it on down. Okay, now that you got that done, grab your wastegate tube there. So slide it on the bottom quick first, and then this should just slide right back into the area. This should just slide right back up into where it needs to go. And I recommend where you need to put it, get it into this location first, which is going to be like right about there. So push that up as far as you can. Want a good seal on that. So just go ahead and grab your clamp. You need to get these snug, but not too necessarily tight there. Usually try to test the side panel to see, make sure that bolt doesn't hit it. Good. You could do a little bit of a better way of putting that bolt, but that should be good for now. What we're going to do next, before we forget, is going to be popping in that temperature sensor. Oops. We'll drop the spring, which it's just on the back here where my hand is. It just plugs right into the side of this sole wheel right here. And sometimes you are going to have to try to pull a little bit of this down. It doesn't give you that much slack off the bat, so it is going sideways into this. Now that that's all plugged in, we're going to focus on doing the turbo next. Which all you're going to want to do is grab your clamp for the turbo as well. Pop the nut off. Quick second, I will recommend that you put the spring on the back. It's not a big deal if you didn't, but the spring on the back is important, but you usually want to do that one first as it is kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll go ahead and put this clamp on first. All right, now that we got those on, let's go ahead and put all the springs back on. There's gonna be the one behind, and then the fork that connect to the turbo, and then the two on the wastegate. All right, guys, we just got finished up completing on our RPM sports can install. So some things to take note of, just as a summary, make sure you guys install your temperature sensor as well. Make sure you're installing your intake back correctly. The one thing that I really want to keen on is this rubber piece down here on the chassis that rides along where the can does. It's kind of this little like U-shaped thing. Just make sure you have that aligned right, as sometimes if you don't have that aligned right, it can throw off the way the can sits, and then you'll start getting leaks up here on your wastegate pipe. But other than that, I mean, let's go ahead and start it up so you guys can hear it, and we can go from there. Alright guys, we just finished up installing our RPM sports can install. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and learned something, or if you're purchasing an RPM can, hopefully this video can help you get that install completed. So once again, I think it sounds amazing. I think you guys would really like it, and it's going to sound absolutely great on the snow. Other than that, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day, and make sure you guys subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you in the next one.